Oh shit. I think I'm live. Hi everyone. If you can hear me, say hi in the chat. I think I can see the comment section on YouTube. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Hi Messi. Um, where are my people? Hold on. I'm not good with this StreamYard thing. This should be my second time. Where is inspiration? Let me text him. Inspiration, can you hear me? Oh, I can see him now. What's up, man? You're muted.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool. Cool. Yeah. I think I'm audible now. Ajay, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. What a year. Are you ready for us
So
though?
it's great. Yeah. Let's get it started. But
Makes
over
sense.
to you. Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, sure. Let me share the link in our group chat, the devs group chat. Oh, Colin shared it already. Okay, that's fine. So guys, hello, GNGM. Welcome to 2026 officially as one of our developers in Super Team Nigeria. And I'm super excited actually because it seems this year is for developers only, right? Because this is our first call. Guess what? We're starting with a workshop. Another one will be coming up on Wednesday. And we rolled it out with two bounties worth $5,000, right? So it's an amazing year already, and we can already see this happening. So to do a follow up, right, or to sort of give you more insights on the current bounties, we've made sure to curate two workshops, right, to tackle each of the bounties. And what that simply means is that if you do not understand or you do not fully grasp the whole concept behind the bounty, you can join one of these workshops or each of these workshops to get a better understanding, right? So today we're going to be looking at best practices when building with Anchor or Pinocchio, and it will be handled by Inspiration. So yeah, Inspiration, super excited to have you. And I'm excited to, learn a lot from you today. Right. So, welcome, man. And we're going to be starting. Just give me a thumbs up if you're ready. All right, cool. Guys, we're giving inspiration the mic now, and it's going to be teaching us about Anchor and Pinocchio. So, inspiration over to you.
Wow. Okay. Can everyone hear me? I hope everybody can hear me. Let me share my screen. Share my screen. Share screen. Share screen. Display. So I'll be starting off with what most people tend to overlook when building with any tech actually, not just Anchor, Pinocchio. So Olu, can you please add the screen to the stage?
What's that? You want to
Can you
share
add
your
the screen
screen?
to the stage? Yes.
Um, hold on. Let me reach out. Okay.
Yeah.
Your screen is live now.
Okay. So yeah, the thing that's most important is what a lot of people overlook, and that is 1 minute to pull it up. That is this bad boy here. Oh, that is not here yet. This bad boy here. Right. So whatever tech you are working with, you want to start with the docs, right? Every the problem is developers treat development like every other thing. They want to figure it out as they go. But that you don't mostly want to do that, especially when you are building on something like Solana. Yeah, so the Anchor Docs is a very good place to start. And where I spend most of my time, because a lot of things I forget, is this guys here, account constraints, account types. Those guys I've opened these pages like more than 10 times in a week when I'm writing code. I just have to come back to reference this interface accounts. How do you call a program? How do you use a program in an construct? What is the? There are different ways to use with the new token interface, right? So today we'll be talking about token interfaces. One of the things we're talking about. Previously, before a token interfaces, you just use an account loader like account, and you put info token. That's how you used to do it then. But there is a better way. This one here. If it's a token program, you just put an interface info then token interface. That's one thing. Then if you are loading a token account, so here the previous way was this one. Um, Token program info token. But that's not how we want to do it now, because now with the rise of token 2022, we want to we want to make sure your programs should be able to support whatever token user is sending in, whatever token program that the user wants to interact with. If you, especially if you are building something like a DEX or whatever, if a user wants to trade a pair and the person using a there's a pool for, let's say, pi PUSD, let's say pi this guy's USD, what's the other guy, PayPal USD, and against a pair. That PayPal USD is not a regular SPL token. It's a token 2022. So you want your program to be able to be flexible enough to either accept both token 2022 or the SPL token program, right? So that's one way interface account comes in. And let me show you what that looks like in regular code. First is first is let's get to this. Is an AMM, by the way, from this program we were doing, this 3 days of DeFi that we're supposed to conclude yesterday, but yesterday's session was moved to next week. So next week Saturday we'll be rounding up. Let me start with the states. Start with the deposit. Yeah. See, let me increase the fonts here a bit. You see, now everything that is concerning tokens, I'm bringing them from this token interface crate, this token interface mod. Yeah, instead of a token, I'm bringing in from token interface. A token interface is still part of the Anchor SPL token that you install with. Sorry, that you install with this guy here, Anchor SPL 3.31 or whatever version you're using, right? So it comes with it, but you use the token interface. So everything now, this is another different one. Transfer. I'm using transfer checked. I'll tell you what that is in a minute. Mint to there's also mint checked. I think there's mint checked. Yes, mint to checked. So you can I'll show you what those one means in a minute. So there are these new primitives that gives you guardrails where you're writing up Solana programs, right? So there's mint to checked, token interface, transfer checked. So what does this checks do? If you're writing a transfer check, first thing, it's just a regular transfer. But now we are taking it in from token interface. That means yeah, you can potentially use it for a regular transfer or an SPL token transfer. So token 2022 transfer or an SPL token transfer. In the account, this is what that will look like. So every kind of account, a mint account, a token account, a mint account, token account, basically. So all those accounts are going to be called interface accounts. An interface account is still from okay, interface account is from Anchor Lang Prelude, right? So they are now their interface accounts. Then you have your info, your time, your lifetime. Then you have this token account here, which is from transfer token interface, right? So that's what a token account would look like. Then for a mint, it will still be an interface account. Then it will be coming from the mint of token interface, not just token mint. You have token, then you have, I think you have mint. Yes. If you use this one, you have an error. If I use this one, let me remove this one. If you use that one, you have an error in your account structure. Tell you trying to refer to accounts. Try to refer to accounts. The problem is that blah, 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 blah. The problem is not direct, but you get an idea. That's one thing with Anchor. Anchor has not gotten the bare bone of making their errors, yeah, user friendly. Yeah. So you have to think what's going on. It's telling you, it's going to say blah, 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 blah. If I don't even tell you anything, that's how bad Anchor is. I think this is they fix it in subscription version. I'm on 31.1, so really. So you want to use the mint from if you're using an interface account. Problem is because I'm using interface accounts. Yeah, that's the problem. I'm using interface account, so it requires me to use a mint from. this token interface, not a mint from token, right? So that's one thing, one caveat you want to get over with first. So now the error is gone. So the same thing with token accounts. So if you are using a normal account here and you put token accounts or however you used to do it previously, you just don't know that.
Am I rugging or is it inspiration? Can you guys hear me? Can anyone hear me? Okay, I think inspiration is rugging. If that's the case, let's just yeah. So let's just hold on a bit for him. He'll soon be back. Um, I guess our internet providers are at it again. So, regarding the session, can you take note if you have any questions, right? Um, just keep your questions. Eventually, is going to answer them. So just take note of that. And yeah, before he comes back, I guess we can talk about some of the things happening within the ecosystem lately around developer relations, right? Um, So this year, hold on a minute. I want to confirm something. So, I mean, the first big news, right, is around the mainnet launch of, guess what, guys? Rust Undead, right? So it's a big one. Since last year, they've been pushing, grinding, and finally, Rust Undead it's on mainnet now. And this is actually open for everybody to use, especially if you're, yes, Rust Undead, Collins, especially if you're a newbie. Even if you're not a newbie, right? Rust Undead is still for you. It helps refreshes your memory. Try it out. It's a game, right? Learning should be fun, unlike how difficult it is, right? Especially when you're learning a programming language like Rust or Anchor, right? It can be so hard sometimes. So, playing a game while you're learning it, let it begin. But inside the game, oh, not in real life, please, Collins, let's be guided. So yeah, you should give the game a try. Um, as you learn, you then upgrade your level and so on and so forth. And as well, they have a group chat, not really a group chat, a Discord group. If you have any question, any improvements, or there is more like a module you would like them to cover, you can go drop a message there. I think he dropped an announcement yesterday or this morning. I can't remember specifically, but there's a channel there where you can drop complaints, questions, or anything related to improvements, right? So do that by all means. So yeah, let's congratulate them if you haven't. So yeah, aside that, what else? What else? What else? I mean, a couple of things happened um, this few weeks. I don't know if you guys have heard of Overclock. It's written in Go and it's a full Solana node client, right? Ideally or normally, the running a node, right, can be so bulky at times, whereby it would, if your system is not as strong, it will drag it down, right? But this is more like um, a reinvention of it, but written in Go, so it makes it way more portable for you to experiment with, right? And yeah, I mean, a number of things have been happening. You just have to keep updated with the ecosystem, and from there it will keep growing and all of that. And yes, before I forget, there is an hackathon going on currently, a privacy hackathon. I think it's best I talk about this. I wanted to save it for last, right? But since we don't have inspiration on the call now, it's better we just talk about it, right? So the privacy hackathon is currently ongoing. It should end by, hold on. Please let me confirm. Um, it should end by February 1st. Yes. It's around 4 weeks. Yeah, that's 4 weeks. Um, and it's simply around privacy, right? Um, so you can think of building products around privacy transactions, anything that involves privacy, basically, right? So there are several tracks. Let me just run through them to keep us updated. And by the way, it's $70,000 hackathon, so that's like some good amount of money. Um, some ecosystem partners are like Archeum, Income, Helios. Helios is also a partner, and Light Protocol, right? So you can build private payments, you can build private launch pads, and then you can as well think of anything, right? Something new or anything out of the box, but still related to privacy. You can build, and um, it works, right? So there is that. $70,000 in prizes. Um, do well to give it a shot, please. Okay, I guess inspiration is back, and please join. Okay. Um, I can't see you though. How do I bring you up now? Okay, hold on. Let me text someone to bring him up. I'm also a guest on this call, please. Pardon me. The host is behind the scenes, so we can't see the guest. Hi, BLHM. So inspiration will be up in any time. So, oh, is here. You have the floor, please.
Oh, that's it. I don't know. Sorry, guys. My internet went down. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, but let's assume it did not happen. Even though it happened, but let's assume it did not happen. So where was I? Where was I? Where did I leave off? Yeah, I think I was explaining. Okay, that you have to use the stuff from token interfaces. So let me just get to the programs. Yeah. So when you look at the program, you see something familiar, system program because you are creating an account, token program, you have a mint associated token program, you have an associated token account, right? And you're doing some checks. But the way we have these programs are different. Token program is no longer program, then token program. It's now an interface, then token interface. See the difference there. Let me show you what that looks like on the docs 1 minute. Like I was saying, yeah, well, interface then token interface, right? So the old one was yes, token program, you have program info and token, right? So that if you wanted to use it that way, you still could, but the this one is more flexible because you are using the token program from the interface account. So you can as an interface account, so it's an account that just has that exposes the interface of the token account. So whatever token account it is. So yeah, token interface rather. So whatever token account it is, so you have an interface that can help you interact with both tokens, right? So the old way was writing it like this: token program, they have program info and token. Then the new way is writing it like this: program, token program, just like interface, then token interface. But your associated token accounts will still be a program. Yeah. So your associated token program rather will still be a program. Then associated tokens. An associated token is from just token and associated token and associated token. Yeah, so that's one major caveat. These are like I talk about three caveats now. So you have this one, yeah, associated token program. Then you have this one. So these are the two things that are changed if you are going to be using all things from token interface, right? Apart from the fact that every account is an interface account, your mint is an interface account, your token account is an interface account. Then your token program will be an interface of token interface. Then your associated token program will be a program of associated token. This one did not change. Associated token program did not change. The only one that changed was this guy, the token program, because you wanted to accommodate both tokens, right? Yeah. So any questions on that? Confusion, abstract, anything? Okay, we're cool. Yeah. So now that we've gotten that part of our next, let's talk about this account, this macro here, this account, this I think the procedural macro, proc macro. This is very powerful, right? Because it's a switch. It's a switch, right? So if you are creating an account, let's say you are doing init on an account. In this case, let's do to our initialize. You are doing an init on an account here, and you are saying that, yeah, you are saying the authority of the mint. Is this a good example? I think yes. Yeah, it's also a good example. Yeah. So you are saying, yeah, you are saying you are creating this account. Right? I'm creating a mint LP, or let's use a vault. Let's use a vault. Yes, so for simplicity, I'm creating a vault for a token account, and you are saying, yeah, initialize this time you are creating this now. So you are also saying that the associated token, the authority of this token account is the config. In this case that you are creating the account, it means you are assigning the config to be the authority of this token account. But in this case here, in deposit, let's go to vault X. This associated token account authority, we're not assigning it to the authority, we're not assigning it to config. We're making sure that we're doing a check here that the authority of this account must be the config. So that's what this one. So this one is saying it must be this, and this one is saying because it's a mutable, and this one is saying in it here. This one is saying this is it. The authority is the config. While I'm creating it, I'm saying right there that the authority of this account is the config account. But in this place, I'm saying make sure that the authority of this token account is the config. And you can do a very good, if you have a custom error for that, you can just put at, then you say AMM error, you can put wrong config. So this error now translates and travels down into your account checks. So whenever someone puts a wrong authority here, whatever error you show here would be passed down to your terminal. So it's not just be a generic error that is saying account constraint wrong, expected this account, provided this account. It will now be whatever error you put here. So let's try to define that error here. In this case, error.rs. So let's put a wrong config. That's even a wrong. Let's say you provided wrong accounts for you provided wrong authority for vault X. And what you want to do when you're writing Anchor programs is you need to know that all of these things that are being printed out in the logs are consuming CUs, right? So you want your error code to be as short as possible while still being meaningful. So you could rewrite this, just say provided wrong authority for vortex or wrong vortex authority. The shorter the merrier, but it should still make sense to the developer that is saying it, right? So you are minimizing compute units here, so it will be less expensive. So you just wrote the long error we wrote now, just shortened it to this, right? This one is just an example of how it can be. So if inside my deposit now, I can put AMM error wrong config. That's the error now. Expected this. Uh, is it this one? I think. Okay, okay. You can. This one is saying one way to do it is you can say that another way to do it, you can put in the constraints. Another way to do that equals say vortex dot I think is authority if there's authority on it equals config, then put your at here. I think this one will fly, but that one might not work there. You can do it this way, put that comma here. So it's not authority, it's called, I think it's owner. Yeah, owner of the token account. Owner config.key. Expected the pub key. Yes, config.key in this place. Yeah, that should work now. So then I can remove, since this one is a mutable account, so this is a check, right? I can remove this. Then I will have an explicit error, but this one will not allow me go because if you're using associated token mint, you need to provide associated token authority. So you can also put that into another constraint. Yeah, yeah. Constraint is one more constraint, but x dot mint, I think, equals mint x dot key. Let me remove this. I think that should, so mint x. Yeah. So now we have our own explicit errors. So whatever error you want to define, you can put them inside a config. Also, if you want to put, you can also do it here. You're saying this account must be writable. If it's not writable, throw this error. You can say throw this error too. So that at symbol there can allow you through a lot of errors wherever you want to use them. Let's say put this error here. Yeah. So that means if this account is not writable, throw this error. Whatever error that you have defined, whatever custom error you define. So let's say you want it to be called vortex non mutable, right? Whatever error you want it to be. Let's say immutable immutable x. This is a bad name. But x must be mutable, must be writable or whatever you want to put there. So immutable x. Let's copy this, then bring it to deposits. I think it's deposits. Then do this. So it is exactly this error that will be in the conf in the logs, not just some random error that says um, try to assign a writable account or something. To not be a random error, to be your specific error. So you want to be as specific as possible when writing things that deal with things that could fail. There needs to be a reason why something is failing, right? Why is it failing? So you need to also tell. So just write mute and just leave it at that. What if it's not mute? What if something is wrong there? People just try to take advantage of Anchor being simple. You still need to do those guardrails yourself, right? Do those things. Think in those edge cases, right? So yeah. So whatever area you want to put here, change it to maybe like wrong mint or so. Then what else? 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 Also try to always comment out logic that I think someone wants to read your code. Logic that if you're writing unsafe, definitely need to write the safety for that. Logic that that someone has to think. If someone has to think, let's say 10 seconds before they understand what your function does, you need to write the logic. You need to write an explanation for that function. This is like an example. This one is like this one is a deposit instruction, like depositing LP tokens into the AMM. So I explained exactly what happened there. This explanation is for the client actually. So if someone is writing a test for my code or trying to test my program on the front end on their client, they would understand what value they're supposed to pass. So inside my argument, yeah, another thing is I just keep getting to other things. People like doing this. Let's say mint y or whatever. Let's say amount sub amount. Let's say u 16 and amount is u 16 again. Whatever. They like putting out all their arguments inside as an expression. Just write out all your arguments, your parameters. No, you can put your argument into a struct like this and define it below. So you can just define a struct there, but you have to derive anchors, deserialize, and anchors serialize on them. So tell them the amount is this, max X is this, max Y is this. Then you can now easily explain what those guys do. So it gives sanity and it makes your code more reusable on the test side. When you're writing the test now, then Anchor in your TypeScript or anywhere, TypeScript knows what it will now give you. Let's say it will give you a struct like this, then you can do and put in, you can do the helper and it will tell you that amount is this. Now TypeScript linter is like able to understand what your argument is taking. But if it's just a list of strings, like just a list of argument like this, TypeScript does not Anchor TypeScript does not know what your argument you are expecting. But if you put it inside a struct like this, then the structs will be printed out when you are trying to create when you're trying to interact with your client on the test. Or trying to interact with your program in the test rather. 1 minute, I think. Last, yeah, this one. Okay, so we talked about creating a struct for things that are reusable. So now, in my instruction handler in my librs, yeah, I can now use that same deposit arg. I will just import it from wherever I used it before. So it's now a reusable code. I don't need to repeat myself. So I just created a struct. Then what's it called? I derived anchor serialize and anchor deserialize on top of it, and I can reuse it everywhere. So the same thing for withdrawal argument also. Same thing amount mint x mint y, right? So these are some of the little things that you need to think about when you're writing anchor codes, anchor programs. Then if you want to get into more minute, like now, Pinocchio has taught me to think about compute units. If I write a program in Anchor now, I would want to rewrite, even if it's not the whole thing, that's say maybe one instruction, rewrite that instruction in Pinocchio and see how they compare with compute units. And there are a lot of ways to do that in Pinocchio. Like Pinocchio just makes you think of yourself as a better engineer overall. You get to Pinocchio is just like writing a Solana program with the regular Solana SDK, the previous one. Just, that's just how it looks like. But you're not using Solana SDK now. You're using what's it called? You're using Pinocchio entry point. So there are two things Pinocchio gives you. Should I get into that now? Or let's just see what other things do we have here? Have your errors. You can talk about the accounts, how you want to put your explicit errors on the account type. And now you can use constraints. Constraints are very important actually. I prefer using constraints. Even I prefer using constraints to as one. You can in this case you can use as one. Like prefer to use as one mint x mint y. Now and I can also throw my error here. This art error is very very important. I can just throw it here. I think I can throw it here. I think yes I can. I can put this error here, whatever error. Maybe it config must have this mint X or mint Y. So you can specifically throw what kind of error you want shown to the client. Instead of just leaving it like this and allowing Anchor to throw a generic error that you start thinking of, oh, where this error come from, right? So you need to be able to be accountable for your programs. Very, 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 very important. Very, very important. Then we talked about that. We talked about the new type of programs. That's this one. Token program is now an interface and token interface. Then we talked about every account is an interface account now. Every account is an interface account. Your mint account or your regular account is still an account. Your let's say you have a struct in your state. You have a state. That one is still regular account. Where's config? Config. Yes, config is still regular account. Let's say you have a state here. State config.rs and you have the authority, the C, blah blah blah. That's one. If you want to use that one, you're still using it as accounts, then info, then config. Simple and straightforward, right? So that's still normal. The only thing I will show you why Pinocchio is better for advanced and intensive stuff. It's not just it forces you to think of okay, no, let me go there. What you think
So
about
don't mind Andrew. He's just
uh,
trolling.
Asmos. So as we were saying, Pinocchio forces you to think of how when we get there, you see, I'll get there. So let me just do. I think I've gotten a wrap up. What else do I want to talk about? Talk about the program types. Oh, let's check the docs. Sure, surely the docs will be close. Always check the docs, guys. Always check. There's always something new in the docs. Maybe not every time, but there's something. Yeah. For this signer, there are a lot of ways to create a signer. There are a lot of ways to create a signer, like 3 ways to create a signer. But I don't even remember all of them. It's been a long while. Let me see if I can find that repo. I don't think I can find that repo. But instead of having your signer like this, there's another way to do it. I think there are like 2, 3 ways. Can I remember? Can I remember? I can't remember for now. But there are like 2, 3 ways to create a signer, not just using the signer. However, there are 2, 3 ways to do that. Then what else? What else? What else? What else? I think talk about every other thing would be over engineering it, and that where you can over engineer is in Pinocchio, right? Anchor does not require you to know a lot of Rust to write programs, but Pinocchio does. It's not a lot, but you need to know things in Pinocchio when you start writing Rust, right? And that's what you want to get to when you're starting off. Do Anchor, enjoy Anchor, like spend a lot of time understanding how Anchor works, build stuff with Anchor. And after that, you want to go into there was a way people were writing programs before Anchor came now. So why do you want to be spoon fed for a long time? Yeah, you've been spoon fed for it. Just get crush this stuff and start doing stuff, right? So that's what Pinocchio basically is. After you spend a lot of time in Anchor, then try to know what's next. Try to know what's next. And Pinocchio is not even just it's not just a library, because a library, not a framework, not just a library, it's a new paradigm. It wants to feed you. Pinocchio is a new paradigm, and that what that means is okay in Anchor in regular copy method of writing Solana programs. What you do is, let's say you have an account now somewhere here, and you want to write into that account. You first read the data of the account, you keep it somewhere, you write to the account, then you modify that state, then you now rewrite it back to the VM. So 3 steps, you copy it out, you write to it, then you save it 3 steps. That's the way it usually was. That's why it's expensive to some extent. But with Pinocchio, it's now zero copy. You're not copying anything. You can just get a pointer to let me use the word pointer. Pointer is scaring a lot of people. You can just get a reference to what that account is on the chain and write to it exactly at that moment. You can just get a mutable reference to it and write to it. Just like you have a variable and just mutate the value of that variable. That's basically how you do Pinocchio, right? So it's not like you copy it out, write to it, and push it back in. No. So that's why if you can still do Pinocchio like that, but you're defeating the reason why Pinocchio was created. You can still use something like Bosch to create your account in Pinocchio. Like if you are creating, let me get into states and I go to config. What this is doing, still, what this account macro is doing, you see a lot of things. It's deriving account serialized, account deserialized, anchor serialized, anchor deserialized. All of these things are Bosch. They are, let me show you. Let's get into it. What is an account? Only if you want to do, you can do zero copy with Anchor too, but that's a lot. That's more advanced stuff. What about that now? If you check here, you will see what I'm looking for. Come to Earth, Bosch. Yeah, yeah. So I did have 2 places that Bosch is mentioned in the docs. So these guys are using a lot of Bosch. And when we check, let me see if I can find that tweet. Let me see if I can find the tweet. X.com, oh, sorry, X.com, X. Let me look for. Fibo made a tweet a while ago about a framework, not a framework, a library created. Was the library? I think it's tied. Yes, Fibo tied. 1 minute. Fibo then tied. Just like X search algorithm is worse. By the way, it's very quack, very bad. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. So this post was what it did. It is side by side comparison. Fibo was the original guy that created Pinocchio, by the way. It is side by side comparison with when you use Bosch to what he did there was just loading an account and reading from the account. I think loading an account, reading from it and writing to it, right? With Beam code, it costs 356 CUs. Bosch, it costs 617 CUs. Bosch is expensive. With ByteMock, it costs 40. I use ByteMock a lot in Pinocchio, but I'm trying to transition into Win code now. The fact that Win code is expensive, but it's still there's some limits that I can't use Bosch with. Like now, you're writing a growable vector, and I've not even needed to use growable vectors. I just use fixed size arrays, but that's not what I'm talking about. That. Okay, so Bosch is consuming 617 series. That's like the worst way to go. And Anchor V2 is also pushing for Win code now. In fact, everything on Solana is pushing for Win code now instead of using Bosch. So you see why things are expensive, get very expensive pretty quickly on Solana, right? Because of this guy, and he served us for a long time. He served us. He did what we wanted to do very well, but it could be improved. That's basically the word. So that is why that's why. So this guy is also deriving a lot of Bosch. It's just Bosch and Bosch initializer that is doing under apart from other things that it's doing. But with Pinocchio, you can remove this totally and use something different. You can use Beam code. You can use Bosch too. If you want to shoot yourself in the leg, you can use Beam code, you can use Win code, you can use whatever. So now let's try to do what we did here, even if it's just one of the instructions or two of the instructions. Try to recreate that in Pinocchio from start. Let's see. Let's see. Control T, my terminal, Control P, CD documents. I want to show you what my thought process is when I'm creating a Pinocchio program. It could be better than what I'm doing, but what I'm doing works and it works well to some extent. I don't know. And I want to do cargo. Oh, sorry. I think cargo new. Oh, am I not spelling right here? Cargo new. Um, let's say uh, accounts in Pinocchio. That's a very terrible name. Don't you give me a name, I beg in the chat. Chat. W's in the chat. Let's see. The first person to give me a name will win a gift from Olumide. I see. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Nobody dropped me in chat. Let me think of something about myself. Cargo new Pinocchio test. There's a pin
You
test.
might
That's
just
terrible.
you might just open names. Yeah.
Pin
You
test.
cannot
So let's just
you
do
may not
pin
even
test.
put them completely. Your spin is fine. Who understand? You're
Okay,
following.
pin. Pin. It's actually Idolomide. Cargo new this code pin. I think. Yeah, good, good. Then let me include the font. Sorry. So now, first thing I'll change this to 21 because I'm not using 24. And I want to paste in a lot of. Let me just copy it. I'm not start writing. I want to paste in. Pinocchio is not just one thing. Pinocchio is one thing. Then is the entry point. That's what communicate with the Solana VM. That's the entry point and what loads all your accounts. Second thing is all your signers, all your account type, all your just like you have Solana, the Solana SDK. You can use Solana SDK as a whole. And you can use if people don't know, you can use Solana signer, Solana accounts, Solana key pair. There are different sub packages inside the Solana package itself, right? Let me do it. Inside the Solana SDK package itself. Yeah, let me do this one. Let me just 1 minute. I'll paste those things right away. Cargo terminal. Yeah. Okay, not this one. I just looking accounts. Yes, this one. Let's do this one. Yeah. So what I just pasted here in short is this one will fail. Yes, this one will fail. I think there's a better. Or which one will fail? Let me just see. This one has moved from a GitHub repo to an actual what's it called? An actual crate. So let me find that crate. I know it failed one time I was doing test. or something. So, oh, was that Pinocchio pub key, right? Yes, Pinocchio pub key. Pinocchio, Pinocchio pub key creates. Yeah, this one. So the version we want to go with that is compatible with version 0.8.4 of Pinocchio is Pinocchio pub key 0.3.0. But just like how we do with npm packages, now I want to check all the versions and what they are compatible with, right? If I using 0.3.0, 2021 edition is also 0.2.4. Let me check that and let me see what dependencies or dependents are on it. So Typhoon no dependencies is what I'm looking for. Pinocchio 0.9 and I'm on Pinocchio 0.8. So that might not work. So I need to look for the version that is cool with me. So let me use this one 0.2.4. Let me check the dependencies of that one. Yes, Pinocchio 0.8. So this is the version I want to use. So just get to know because I'm using Pinocchio 0.8.4 here. So I just want to use the right Pinocchio PubKey version 0.2.4. Instead of using the one from GitHub directly, I use one from the crates now. I save this. So this is everything I need to write the Pinocchio program. Right? Then for my testing, I want to use LightSDM for testing. And do I need all of this? I don't think I need all of this, but let me just paste them here just in case. I'm using for this version test. I want to use LightSDM 0.6. Then Solana native token. I don't need all of this, but I just copied it from somewhere that I work with it. So let me just use it that way. Then this. So first thing I will do is continue. I want to set up my workspace properly. Just like every program, you need the instruction, you need the state, instruction and state basically. So make directory instruction. Just come here and create new folder, but I just want to write it in terminal. Like instructions, then state, and cd instruction and touch lib.rs. Then let's say initialize.rs and cd dot. You can click on these buttons and do it. I like writing in terminal. That's just basically what I'm doing. Yeah, mine now. When I get back one level and then cd.
No problem.
Let me stop here
Flex or
first.
not, that we like using the directory.
So what I did was just created an instructions and created instruction folder and I created initialize.rs and librs with this. So cd. That's, let me just create it. I beg. I'm not showing off. It's not like I'm showing off again. Let me stop what I'm doing. States. Then bring it up. I think outside this. Oh, I already have states here. So let me just delete this. I already have states here and I'll put a librs here. Lib.rs here. Then another file for let's do config.rs. Yes, I think we're good to go now. So what will be inside our lib.rs is simply we want to create an entry point that can handle any kind of instruction that comes at our Pinocchio package, at our Pinocchio program. So I'll paste that in real quick and I'll explain what that does. So it's just this one. This, then remove all of this. Let's remove all of this. Remove all of this. Remove all of this. So it's just a function that's called process instruction. Let me import pub key from where that should come from. Pinocchio pub key. Account info should also come from Pinocchio account info, wherever. The other program result comes from Pinocchio. It's similar to writing Anchor now. It's just very similar, but it's not similar at the same time. So this one is just a check to make sure that I don't think you can ever hit this check. You can never hit this check. I don't think so. I'm making sure the program ID I pass in here is the ID of this instruction. If it is not the ID of this instruction, how would it get to this instruction in the first place? So I don't think you can ever hit this check. That's over engineering. First step of over engineering. Yeah. So let me get back to to see if you are good. So now, like I said, Pinocchio forces you to think of how things work under the hood. So we have a processed instruction function, and every Solana instruction takes three things majorly, and inside those three things have other things, but three things majorly: the program ID they are communicating with, the accounts they are using to communicate with that program ID, and whatever instruction data you want to send. Right, that's basically how Solana works. Solana instruction works. What program are you talking to? The ID of the program. What accounts do you need to carry out that instruction? Then what data are you sending to that? That things are program ID, the accounts, then the instruction data. Simple and straightforward. And the instruction data is just a byte, is an byte array, the long slice of 8 bytes. Excuse me. What we want to do is, first thing on this instruction data, we want to get the, so now like I said, it's three things, but inside those three things you can see scrape out a lot of things. For every instruction, let's say a custom program, then you want to know, okay, I'm speaking with the program, right? What part of that program am I speaking with? So what function in that program am I speaking with? So each function in the program has an ID. It's called a discriminator. So that's what the discriminator is. So it will still come with your instruction data, but it usually is the first byte of your instruction data. That first byte, you want to split it out. So that's what this does. So it's a byte slice, like a long array of bytes. So you want to slice out, you want to split that first guy, then you name it discriminator, and every other thing that follows it is called your data. So it's just like you're creating a tuple from it. Basically, that's what you're doing. So it's split first. So if that goes well, everything works. Else, then if something is wrong, let's say you pass an empty instruction data, this error will be called. So that's just the basic thing of Pinocchio. They need to specify the entry points, right? Like I said. Let me pull that thing. Yeah, this one. To use once you do Pinocchio like 2 3 times, you get used to all this thing. So this entry point is coming from this Pinocchio create entry point. Yes. So the entry point is not Solana SDK. So this one is Pinocchio instruction entry point. That's what you're using. Then the same thing like pub key, declare ID. This so you still have that same thing from Anchor, right? You declare your ID of the program from here. Yeah, what is it? Programs, source, Liberes. Then you have your declare ID, right? So this declare ID is from Anchor Prelude. Yeah, so that was the declare ID. So see the same thing here. You have your declare ID, but your declare ID is now coming from Pinocchio Pub Key, right? So simple. So yeah, if I want to make it more conventional, I can put Pinocchio. Sorry, not Pinocchio and Pub Key. I can use Pinocchio Pub Key. Then inside of that, I can just put declare ID. Yeah, and yeah, I'll just put declare ID. So to be similar to Anchor. Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy, right? Then, so how do we get? Let's write our first instruction that just say hello first. Let's write one instruction that says hello. So we have this discriminator that we have. Okay, 1 minute. We have discriminator and we have every other data. Yeah, that comes with it. So how do we now get want to slice out every all the instruction and how do we work with it? So let me just do this. You can do a big match, right? Or you can do an if. So let's say if if data, or you can just match on data. That's more exhaustive. Match data. Then if we have, it's not an option, right? No, sorry, match discriminator, not a match discriminator. So if it is zero, because it's a U8 now, if it is zero, do this, blah 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 blah. If it's zero, return okay. Let's assume I return okay there. Then if it's anything else, just do control and error, control and error, and everybody's happy. Let me find one good error to put. Return Pinocchio error, this one. I will soon round up. I just want to show what the thought process is like for Pinocchio. It's simple and straightforward. So what's the problem? What is it shouting at me for? Blah 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 blah. Expected unit type found results. This, so it's this one that's the problem. This one that's the problem. I think. Blah, 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 blah. Pinocchio error. Do I have error? Pinocchio program error. Is this guy that's the problem? Let me remove it here first. Yes, I know it's that guy that's the problem. Let me just put an empty. It's because there's no instruction inside of it, that's why it's shouting like that. Yeah. So if the discriminator, that means if you are talking to instruction one, do this. If you are talking to instruction two, do this. Instruction one, then with one, this guy do this one. Yeah, no, 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 no. That's how you can create an instruction mapping for the Pinocchio program. So it is that's what is contrary in Anchor. With Anchor, you have to write it in HTML barres. Then you have a function called initialize, function called deposit. Then this program does all of that for you. If you check inside program, how it works is it has your argument inputs, then it does this pass macro input thing for your program. Then it now expands it into something like what we have inside Pinocchio there. So it's just does all the headache for you. If you it's good to read the docs on how things work. So just enter the code and understand how it works. Basically, that's just it. There's a lot of comments there for you to understand how those things work. So we are yeah, let me just do one simple instruction handler of how our instruction handler looks like in Pinocchio, and we'll call it a day because it's getting dark already. Have a file called this initialize file, right? So let's have one simple instruction. So let me just copy that because of time. Instructions. Let's do as assuming we're doing this create instruction, right? Yep. So yeah, I can have this guy, then have this guy, then have this guy. Yeah. Okay, it's not work because I have not done this. Pub mod initialize initialize.rs. 1 minute. Let me include it in my librs. Mod, I think, mod instructions. Let's write instructions. Instruction system use program system instruction is, I think, is create instructions, not that one. 1 minute. Let me just copy that. Source librs. Yeah, mod instructions, just mod instructions. Why are you messing with my mind? Oh, my bad. All of this should be inside the source, actually. All of this should be inside the source. My egotistical listing was not correct. Yeah, so just do mod instructions and it's still not working. So my ego was still going. Copy this one there. So to include it and be able to track it, right? Source instructions. And I have a librs. Mod rs. Why do I have a librs? God of God. Mod rs. I think. Yes. Yes. Makes more sense now. So if I do mod pub mod initialize here now. Yeah, so that works. Then pub use initialize. So you guys were watching me doing nonsense. I people cannot say, especially I don't write rubbish for there. Yeah. So now I have my errors here. Info. You can use this one. Then is which one is getting dark? Is dark? I mean, it's not dark. Results. This one. Then we have that. So you can just let's just assume we have an okay here. So you guys want to maybe look into repos that does something like that. So this is exactly how your instruction works. This is we creating an instruction. The first thing that enters this instruction is the account, and the next thing that enters the instruction is the data that you want to use with the instruction. So inside your librs, you can now have if it's instruction one, you can call process process instruction process instruction from wait 1 minute. Create account, create state account. That's what I want. Not process instruction. I want create state account. Yes, from instruction. Yeah. So create state account cannot find create account. You must find it, bro. Find it. Yes. Import it and use it. So what I'm doing here is this guy. Then because it is this one is a function that might throw an error, just put an arrow there. I'll be a question mark there. So basically the account that you're passing from this instruction here enters this place if your discriminator is zero, and the data that you need, the rest of it enters the same instruction if it's zero. But there's a cleaner way to do this. I don't just write zero once. I create an enum for it. Let me show you what that looks like. 1 minute. I'll just show you what the code looks like. Yeah. I'm not done. Uh, my monitor is acting up. Let me bring that in. Yeah. So if you look here, let me show you what that looks like. So if I have my state here, I think it's in my state. Is it my state? No, it's in my not my state. It's in my instructions. In my instruction, yeah, in the mod RS. In the mod RS, you can see how I'm doing that. So I have this all the list of instructions that I have: initialize, create, delegate, commit, undelegate. This is a magic block program, by the way, a program that I have from magic block. So I now have this try from on top of those zeros and ones, then return that. So inside my librs, you will not see zeros and ones in my librs anymore. You will just see match, then if it is create account or if it is delegate account. So that one is doing the zeros and ones check under the hood, right? So that just makes it cleaner. But if you still want to do zeros and ones, mark 01 is still cool. Everybody's happy. Nobody's sad with it. Everybody's cool with it. Yeah. So then last thing, if you're writing your instruction, I always want to stage them. Let's say I'm doing a create account now. I stage them with comments. I first write all these comments out before I start writing my program. So what do you want to do? First step, get all the account. Second step, check. So I would do all your checks mentally first before you start writing code. Check that the maker is the signer. Check that the account that they are sending is empty. Then you whatever check it. I think these are the two checks I want to do. Get the seeds for this account. You are creating an account. Then you need to be sure that the account you are creating is empty. So those are the two checks that I did for this one. So first, have this mental model because there's no anchor here to do it for you. There's no innate if needed there. You are not innating if needed for yourself yet. So it is you that is doing all of the heavy work here. So yeah. That's basically there's no time to get to all of it, and it's simple to create to do CPIs. CPIs in Pinocchio is just whatever type of CPI you want to do, then you call if it's invoke or if it's invoke signed, right? So there's no like create a context, then do a CPI context. Without CPI context, before you now do invoke, you just have whatever thing you want to do. Then the account that are required. I don't even need to do account info dot account info. It's an account info automatically. So it's just this one is simple. It's it's simple, but you need to do the background checks in your mind. So that's basically it. Then in Pinocchio, there's no maybe you are creating an account in Anchor, just create a manual account. You will do bytes. Remember, right comment. So yeah, now you do bytes. Let's say you do something like that's what a signer is like. A signer, a seed basically is this and this. It then a signer is a group of signers is this one. So three, but a seed. For your seeds are this is what your seeds are. So one seed is an array of seeds, right? To make one signer. But in Pinocchio, we're not using this. This is one of the things that still consumes C using Anchor in normal Solana SDK, right? In Pinocchio, we're not doing that. You just have a simple signer instance. Oh, was I looking at? Yeah, yes, this one. So there's signer and there's a seed. So you have the signer from, then you have your seed. You can use these seeds directly, or you can call a seed like a signer like this too. So you pick up all those ones along the way though. But for getting started with Pinocchio, I think this does a good making you friendly, making you have this friendly approach to Pinocchio, right? So yeah, that's it from me. I think I did a lot of deep dive into some new and modern practices on Anchor, and I told you some of the things that will make you want to use Pinocchio. Like a lot of people want to use Pinocchio after this call, right? Pinocchio is not that difficult. It's not rocket science, right? Yeah, so that's it for me. I've been rambling a lot. Thank you. I'm signing off.
A round of applause for inspiration, please. Come on, man. That's a whole lot. Despite the network affecting the stream, you still had the tenacity to finish it. So we applaud you for that. Well done, man. But don't go yet. We might have questions. But we're not going to be taking questions from Rao. He's been terminating the group chat ever since. So if you have any question, please drop them in the chat. We're streaming on X and also on YouTube. You can drop them anywhere. We're going to say it here. So we have inspiration for at least 3 5 minutes to answer questions that you might have. Right. So yeah, if there's any question, please drop. We're running out of time already. This is supposed to run from 8 p.m. to 9, but now we've officially closing the street. Have any? But personally, I am session, um, and even aside you implementing them in Anchor or in Pinocchio, right? They affect um, software development in general, right? Even outside writing Solana programs, right? Things like managing your errors correctly, rewriting the same code over and over and again, right? It's just better to make it reusable. All of these things are things. Thank you, Inspiration, once again for anchoring this session. No pun intended. But yeah, thank you so much. Um, it's 9:14, and since we don't have any question, I think that everyone understands the things you spoke about. And yeah, we can't cover everything all tonight. Um, I think Inspiration hosts weekly streams where he talks about what he builds and all of that. Um, so, I mean, if you have some free time, you should join his stream, follow him on X. You get to know more of these things better. Um, so yeah, no problem. I guess that'll be it for tonight. It's 9:15 already. And once again, thank you for the session, inspiration. Do you have any final thing to say before we call it a night?
Nah, you guys should look
Give
out
it away.
for
This guy.
you guys should look out for turbine in V2 and Q2. There's a lot of things in turbine in Q2. A lot, a lot. Especially rust intensive stuff. Yeah.
very, very important. Very important. You've heard it from him. If you want to be goated like inspiration, take Turbine seriously. He's a two times graduate. I don't know who does that, but he did it. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you on Wednesday for the choral session. Bye.